Hello! So I'm just going to create a little video about how I made my DIY wedding garlands for a bridal table or guest tables or any tables really. I know that I was struggling to find the perfect garland at the right price at least, so I thought I'd make my own. Yes, that's me doing thumbs ups but with my toes. Alright, so we're going to need some floral wire or PVC wire, measuring tape. I have this cute little one on my keychain, some pliers, and also a pair of scissors, but not very necessary. I forgot to record it, but you do also need a glue gun. So I'm separating out my flowers in size. Don't really have too many colors in my case, but that might vary for you. I have lots of flowers, as you can see. While I'm measuring out the size of my garland, I'll mention a quick tip with the flowers. I did manage to get quite a bit for a very cheap price because I was looking at things like Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree and things like that. A lot of people were actually selling their old wedding flowers in bulk. And I'm not sure if I got lucky, but I did find a few ex-wedding stylists that were selling their old flowers because they, I guess, were just going out of business or retiring. Anyway, as you saw, I have measured 130 centimeters, but that can vary on whatever you want it to be. I'm then measuring out my PVC wire in roughly the same length. Trying to keep it relatively straight as I go. So like I said, it's only roughly the same length. I'm going to make it shorter by at least 20 or 30 centimeters, and you'll see why very soon. Okay, for the fun part. So I'm picking out my first couple of flowers and I'm starting off with the bottom layer. So for me, that's the greenery. I've chosen something with a little bit of a stem just to give me a bit of a base to work with, and I'm picking out exactly what I want to keep and what I don't. I've used a pair of scissors here, and I realized later on in the video that a plier works so much better, so learn from my mistakes, don't even worry about the scissor and go straight with the plier. All of that twisting and turning, not necessary with a plier. I've left it in just so you know that it is possible with a pair of scissors, but not necessary. Alright, so I'm just cutting the stem itself a little bit now, and you can see that I'm using my previous garland as a bit of a reference. Pretty much though, what you want to do is make sure that even though your floral wire was a little bit shorter, you want to make sure that the end of your floral is lined up to where you want the end of your garland to be. That's me struggling with the twist and turn method. I soon find out about the magic of pliers. I do hope I've explained that well enough. What I'm trying to say is that we've made the wire shorter on purpose and that we've lined our first stemmy floral or stemmy leaf to where the edge of where we want our garland to be. That way, when we're wiring it to the stem, as I'm doing now, only part of the stem is really taken up by the wire, and that leafy foliage is left without any wire sticking out. Okay, so this is how the initial layer looks. Because we've placed our greens where we want the floral to end, we don't really need that tape anymore. Everything we do from here on out will be within these two attachments. So I'm just filling out this bottom layer with more greens. What I'm doing now is cutting bits of floral wire and then just using that to tie on more leaves. Try being as neat and as tight as possible when wiring in this step because it does help with the structural integrity of the garland at the end. I feel like a what are they called? Those needle head pliers, or one of those jewelry pliers might be really helpful here. I've been using my fingers and it was completely fine. Okay, the wire pokes at you a little bit, but it's not too bad. So here I am, I'm just shaking it about, making sure that it is all held together very well, and it is. Twisting it around. Yep, all good, nothing falling out. Success so far. Okay, I decided to add another little leafy green before I've moved on to my first flower. She's big, she's cute, she's luscious, she's got something to say. So I'm putting her right in the middle, as she deserves. I'm just choosing or deciding how much of the stem I want to keep. And then I'm going to wire it right on, just like I did with the first layer. This gets a little bit tricky because there are other leaves in the way now. I'm making sure that I'm getting a very clear view of where the stem of the rose is and where I want to wire it on, and trying not to get any other leaves caught up along the way. Alright, I'm just going to show the camera a close-up of how that wiring looks. We want to make sure she is securely on. It will eventually be covered with other leaves as well. Alright, so everybody needs a friend, and we're going to give our Queen Rose one. Same thing, choose how much of the stem I wanted. I think this one didn't really give me too much of a choice. It kind of came like that, and I'm just going to wire it right on as well. Alright, so I'm just going to fill up the rest of the garland with some more flowers. This flower I really liked, but I didn't necessarily like the stem of it. It was a bit too thick to work with. What I've done is I've decapitated it brutally and added a bit of floral wire into the stem instead. This way it lets me wire it right on to the rest of the garland pretty easily. So for the flower on this side, I'm placing it in a way that the most full part of the flower is actually covering where that wire is on the leafy greens. That way it's just a little bit prettier and that wire isn't shown as much. Okay, so got some of the big flowers out of the way. I'm going to introduce you to my filler flowers. These are my favorite things. I've got a whole box of them. They're really pretty, they make everything look fuller, they are cost effective, and they look like they're high effort, but they're really not. So I'm adding a few in using the wire, and a few you'll see that I've decided to glue gun down instead, just to have less wires showing, and these are small enough for the glue guns to hold it really well. Just rearranging things, deciding what I like and don't like. The thing about garlands is that no one is really going to be exactly the same. The leaves are going to be placed a little differently. The florals are just going to sit differently sometimes. So yeah, just playing around. I'm just showing the wire there, making sure that it's as neat as possible and as close as possible to the original floral wire we had at the beginning. Now I'm just playing around with what is tied down yet versus what isn't, just so I'm keeping track of things and making any adjustments as I want. So I think I'm adding some more greenery now. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. At this point in the process, I was really unsure about what I was doing. I wasn't sure if I loved what I was seeing or if I absolutely hated it. So it took a little bit of trial and error. As you can see, I'm still not sure if I like it. Anyway, I decided to beef it up a little bit with these little details hoping it would bring the look together somehow. What are these called? Bush sprays. I got these from Bunnings Warehouse, which is an Australian warehouse store, but I'm sure they're available across a variety of different stores. They're pretty common. Look. This is me thinking, look at those toes go. Do I love it? Do I hate it? Okay, I guess I liked it enough to start gluing it down. So I'm bringing my glue gun out and I'm just going to glue those loose little bits down now. I'm setting up something on the carpet so I don't glue my glue gun to my carpet. Alright, this part's pretty straightforward, just gluing it down and then holding it down until it dries up a little bit and moving on across the garland. I'm really unsure about these greens. I think I'm adding another one now. I just couldn't get the ratio right. So I'm just adding the final details now, gluing it all down, and I'll show you in a second. There we go, a little bit of residue that the glue gun leaves. It's just dried stringy glue. I'm just going across the garland and picking it all off, kind of like spider web. If you've used a glue gun, you probably know. And moment of truth, I'm about to pick it all up, make sure it's staying together, and I'm just going to show it at all these different angles and move it around a little bit so you can see it on camera. But we're done. If we want to make any changes still, we definitely still can, add some things, remove some things. You can see that the wire is barely showing because of all the other details we've added. So yeah, there it is. Hope you guys enjoyed and maybe learnt something. I'm only just figuring it out. This is the second or third garland I've made, and I already feel pretty comfortable with it, so it's not very hard. And you can see that it's pretty flexible. You can put candles in the middle or twist and turn it the way you want. Even put it around arches if you liked. I'm just going to leave these clips of me playing around with it so you can see it moving around. But that's it from me. If anyone has watched it this far, thank you, and hope you enjoyed. Bye!